Let's talk about raising up the next generation. Hello everyone, Dylan Schumacher, Citadel Defense, and we're here today to talk about the M&P15-22. Now, I've had a moderate to not successful YouTube channel for multiple years now, and I don't think I've ever actually done a gun review, so I guess today we're gonna change that. I got the M&P15-22 because I wanted to teach my son to shoot. At the time of recording this, my son is 9 years old, and I wanted to get him a rifle that is as close of a replica to a real gun as possible. And the reason is I wanted his skills to transfer, right? So I wasn't interested as much in like a Ruger 1022 or in a, like they have a JR 15 that's like a AR that shoots 22 that like I think you have to reset every round you shoot. Wasn't as much interested in that stuff. I wanted something that was as close to the replica as possible. So all the manual of arms stuff transferred. Now all just the stuff, you know, as much as possible transferred over. Yes, shooting is shooting. You know, aligning your sights to a target and squeezing the trigger is the same across all guns, right? But I just wanted to make everything simple and easy, and so I wanted as close to the manual of arms as possible. I also wanted to be able to set it up as close as possible to the manual of arms, right? So I have some Chi-Com red dot up here that's nothing to write home about, but again, it's a 22, so I'm not going to put like a $600 red dot on there, you know. Just some Magpul iron sights. I'll be honest, I don't even know if I zeroed these on this gun. I've had this gun for about a year. I bought it in March of 2023. I don't know if I ever actually zeroed the irons, so I should probably do that. But at the same time, if I ever need these for another gun, they're coming off, right? Like again, 22, don't care too much. And I know someone out there is gonna say, hey, you know, you should really teach your son to shoot on irons first so he learns how to shoot and then get him onto a red dot. For the record, I categorically disagree with that idea of instruction. When I teach people to shoot as much as I can, I get them to dots first. There's a couple reasons for that. One, it's a lot easier to shoot on a dot. Pistol dot, rifle dot, whatever, and hit what you want to hit. It's just a lot easier. Put the dot on the thing and you squeeze the trigger, right? You don't have to align a front sight and a rear sight and try to line these things up and make sure they're level and square and then squeeze the trigger. Like, it simplifies the process. And as much as we can simplify the process of shooting, that's going to make learning to shoot easier. So I would much rather teach someone on a dot and then transfer them over to irons after they've built a solid set of skills. And shooting irons is going to be a lot easier. Going the other way is a steeper curve. Going the red dot to irons, I think, is a much gentler curve. And let's be honest, as much as we can, we want to shoot with dots and optics anyway. So, you know, why not start them there? End that caveat. Thank you. So I also wanted to be able to, like I said, set it up as much as I can a real rifle. And so that means I wanted to, you know, Picatinny, and I wanted, this is M-Lock. It's a plastic handguard, we'll get to that. But I wanted to be able to set the gun up as much as possible. Now, am I gonna throw a light on here? Maybe. Not right now, I don't currently have one on there, but I'd certainly be open to it. I'm trying to keep it as light as possible so that he can carry it, right? So when we practice going on patrols and practice shooting, I want him to be able to carry safely his own rifle, right? And so I've eschewed a lot of accessories on here to try to cut the weight. Now that I'm saying this, I realize I should probably cut the sights because, yeah, it doesn't weigh a ton, but you know, when you're 9, every little bit counts. And then, of course, I wanted to put a sling on it. This is some Amazon cheapy garbage sling that I would never put on a real rifle. The adjustment is pretty crap. It does adjust, but really it's just kind of an adjust and set. It's not like an adjust on the fly like a real sling kind of deal. And this was some old M-Lock thing I had in here, but apparently I'm missing a screw, so I zip tied the other end in there. You know, we're going primo for the 9-year-old here. So that's basically how I set this up. Now, some modifications I did make to this thing, right? First off, as you can see, I did paint it because it looks much cooler that way. And what son doesn't love having their gun painted with their dad? The other thing I did, the stock that came with the gun is absolute trashed here. Holy crap, the stock is bad. I mean, it feels like some kind of Tricom Walmart garbage. Oh my, I can't say enough bad things about the stock that came on this rifle. So one of my buddies apparently swapped out his BCM stocks for Magpul stocks because he didn't like the BCMs. So he had one around and he gave it to me, which was very gracious of him. Thank you. And so I tossed that on here. So this has a BCM stock on it. Primo stock, you know, on the 22 after I just got done telling you about the sights, right? So stock, absolutely in my opinion, to be replaced. It did come with the standard A2 grip, but it didn't have the finger differentiator thing, so just a smooth A2 grip, but I hated that, so I've recently swapped that out. This is a BCM grip that you can swap out. Which brings me to one of the first good things about this gun. Because it is set up like an AR, it can take all the AR accessories, right? So grip swap out was just like an AR grip swap out. Stock swap out, just like an AR. This is a standard mil-spec buffer tube, right? All the swap outs, standard Picatinny top, like all those things swapping out were super helpful. So that was really nice. I really liked that. Setting it up is just like setting up on any other AR. It shoots really smooth. I mean, it's a 22, so it has all the reliability issues of a 22, right? But that has more to do with the ammo than it does the actual gun, in my opinion. The gun itself, you know, runs fine. We've been shooting, like I said, for about a year. We probably got somewhere, I haven't kept track, between like 500 and 1,000 rounds through it. Something like that. I don't know how much you're really looking to durability test your 22s, right? Like I said, my main driver was, can I teach him all the same basic, sling got my way, skill reloads that I can on an AR, right? So when we're talking about inserting that mag, am I able to teach him to insert the mag, ride your thumb up, depress the bolt, right? Like those are the things that I'm curious about teaching him are, how can we make sure to operate the correct manual of arms so that someday as he grows up and I hand him a real gun, it all just transfers. He's like, oh, I know what I'm doing here, right? And so that was my philosophy of use behind this particular gun. That being said, it's a lot of fun for me to shoot. It has like no recoil, and that's a lot of fun. I have put a suppressor on here before, but again, I usually leave that off because, again, weight, trying to get him to shoulder the gun right. But shooting this thing suppressed is a lot of fun. I will say, it's just a bummer because I have to crank off the muzzle device, right? This is just an A2 flash hider. I have to crank that off. I have to crank on the 22 can. And it's just not so easy. It's not like a quick attach detach thing, right? It's a direct thread. And so that's not as fun. So usually we're just not shooting it suppressed. But again, I will say shooting this gun suppressed is fun. Shooting 22 suppressed in general is a lot of fun. If you haven't done that, I highly, highly recommend it. The magazines, it comes with one mag. This is an extra one that I bought after the fact. This is still a Smith & Wesson mag, but they're 25 rounders. So again, pretty close in round count, right, to a real mag. It's got the 22 loading system, right? We got to depress it and put them in one at a time. So again, kind of a pain. Not as easy to load as a real one, but again, 22, right? What are you going to do? You're working with all the things. Negative things I don't like about the gun. So negative things. It's a lot of plastic. The handguard is plastic. The body is plastic. This is plastic. Like it's just everything's plastic in here. Now it's a 22. Again, is it really need like an aluminum receiver? Probably not, right? But I think I paid $450 for the gun all in, and I guess I just hope that if I'm paying $450 for a gun, like I'd get a little bit more of a real gun. This is an M-LOK plastic handguard. Again, do I need a real metal handguard? No, I guess not, but I would have liked one for $450, right? So it's functional. Again, I don't know if it's going to hold zero with a laser, although maybe we'll get a laser. I'd be curious to try like one of those SOMO lasers up there that break on real guns. I bet you that would hold up on a 22. And you could like laser this at night. Maybe I should try that. That'd probably be a lot of fun. So that would be cool to get rid of some of the plastic. But whatever. Like I said, I already ragged on the stock that came with it. Absolute trashed here. The handle, again plastic, but they are in real rifles too. But again, swappable outable. I can swap those out, so that's a benefit. The charging handle is plastic. It's just a short. That's it. That's the bolt lock to the rear, right? Charging handle is plastic. Again, I would have liked to have seen that to be metal. Maybe someone makes a metal one. I don't know. If you do, let me know, because I seriously might consider buying a metal charging handle for this gun. I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence in this. Like, it feels really chintzy. It feels like dollar store charging handle. Okay. The safety is absolute, again, trashed here. It works. It's functional. Like, I can't pull the trigger when it's on safe, but it's just, there's no click. There's no positive determination. It's just mush with a couple more pounds of resistance than it should take to like mush it all the way through. And that's really it. Again, do I need that positive click? Am I taking this into combat? No. But I would really like, again, to just click it down like a real safety. And I think that's in large part because it's plastic on plastic on plastic on plastic in here, right? There's not metal. This is all plastic riding against plastic in here. And so you're fighting that plastic on plastic friction as you depress that safety. I don't really like that. I wish it was just a positive click like on a real gun. Instead, you just mush it down. I don't know if you can hear that. Let's see. Maybe you can hear that, but it's just that plastic mush all the way down. So that's not great. The trigger is fine. Not great, not terrible, not whatever. Functional enough to teach someone how to shoot. Functional enough that if you want to use this to massacre some raccoons on your property or something like that, right? Some kind of varmint control, you're going to do fine. Okay? You're going to do fine. So fully functional in that sense. When it comes to its assembly, it does have the 2 takedown pins, just like an AR. Now, that being said, where's my multi-tool here? Here it is. It is a little tight. Like, again, you got to remember those pins are plastic and they're on a plastic receiver. And so it's all that plastic on plastic mush again that I just don't prefer. So I just get my screwdriver attachment and I use that to punch those pins out because they're in there pretty tight. And that just, I guess I had the bolt lock back there. And that just, isn't fun. There's no metal on metal in here. It's all plastic on plastic on plastic. So it's all very tight and mushy and kind of bleh. The bolt system's pretty simple, right? As you can tell, I haven't cleaned this in a while. But just simple bolt. Front is metal here, right? With the spring. And then this is plastic back here and this like a carrier piece. I don't know whichever you want to call that, right? It's not going to reciprocate into a buffer tube, right? This is non-functional. Again, 22, right? Here's your wimpy little charging handle. If they make a metal version of this, I'd be curious, but maybe that wouldn't work because again, it's all plastic. It doesn't have like a lip that you have to get it in there. You can just slide it straight in. But again, it does replicate pretty close to how an AR breaks down, right? So even that is functional and is helpful. Is it the greatest thing ever? No. But fully functional for what we're trying to accomplish. And I appreciate that. I did have some fun footage of me shooting this gun, but apparently my camera died or didn't work. So that's not going to be functional. So to get this back in, you do have to depress this piece right here, the bolt, and then kind of wedge it in there. And once you get it in there, you got to kind of work that bolt in. Actually, or that takedown pin. That was actually the easiest it's ever gone. So that's good. But fun little gun, cute little gun, shoots fun. I think the biggest value in this gun is, again, I bought it to help my son learn to shoot. And in that regard, it's been wildly successful because he can carry a gun like Dad. He can roll around with me. We can go shooting. We can go patrolling, whatever. And he gets to feel like one of the boys. And I think that value is super, super high. And so if you're looking to do something like that and you have a young son and you want to teach him how to shoot, I think you're going to get a lot of playtime out of a gun like this. And additionally, when you want to shoot it, I think you're going to enjoy shooting. It is a fun gun to shoot. Honestly, right, most of the time when I shoot, I don't get that exciting feeling anymore, like, boom, explosion in my hands, get that little adrenaline dump that you first get when you first start shooting, right? I don't get that anymore. You probably don't get that anymore. But shooting guns like this every once in a while, it does kind of have a little giggle factor when you can dump 25 rounds and the gun doesn't move, right? Like there's just a little giggle factor to that. And it's 22, so it's still cheap as dirt even now. and you can dump rounds without worrying about just spending your entire paycheck on the ground, right? So I like the M&P15-22. It's going to continue to get rotation in my house. It's going to continue to work. I'm going to use it for my daughters to teach them how to shoot. Painting it with him was a fun deal. There's just a lot of fathering and fatherhood stuff to me wrapped up in the concept and the motivation behind this gun that's been very successful. The gun itself has fulfilled the role I needed to fulfill. I do think it probably should be all in like 50 to 100 bucks cheaper, just given the materials used. But, you know, like I said, that being said, it is functional. I do wish the mags were cheaper, right? But again, I understand that that's not always how that goes. Real AR mags are often cheap as dirt because everybody makes them, and supply and demand and patents, and you understand all that. So that is the M&P15-22. I hope that you find this helpful, and teach your sons how to shoot, because they're probably going to need to know how to do that at some point in their life. Do brave deeds and endure.